And welcome to Success Talk with Deb Shariff. I want to thank everybody for hanging in there with us. This is streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And today's topic, we're talking about save the children, save the family across the world. And I want to introduce my guest today. I'm going to start with Madam Tiger, who is a truth teller. And Madam Tiger, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here?
Wow. I am an educator. Um, I have been a past official of Trans Africa and the Pan African Forums. Had a lot of experience in Upper Africa, which we now call the Middle East. Um, I have a video on YouTube if you want to know the content of my character. Which is entitled "The City of Boston's War Against Trees." That sounds sort of boring, but the video is somewhat intriguing to say the least. I have a book coming out in the near future called Oprah, The Continuing Saga of Soul. And I'm here because I think that a lot of the narrative has been contrived to support really nefarious agendas. And I would love to do whatever I can do to contribute to peace. So that's to summarize my
Thank
intent.
you. Thank you, Madam Tiger. I appreciate it. And next up is Mike Theory. Mike Theory is co-founder of the Black Coral Institute. Did I say that correctly, Michael?
Incorporated.
Incorporated. So
Right.
Michael, tell us a little bit about Black Coral and also why are you here today?
Okay, I'm Morehouse man, as you know. Black Coral Incorporated. I'm the founder, co-founder, and secretary of this nonprofit that helps indigenous populations and urban American populations deal with the effects of climate change and climate justice. And we're funded by a lot of major corporations, the Boston Red Sox, Lyft, different companies like that in our endeavors to work with people all across the globe.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. And I actually have a brother on the phone. I have Brother Dawood Sharif, and he is actually the founder of the African Optimism Forum. And he's going to say just a little bit about himself, why he is here. Brother Dawood.
Greetings, family. My name is Dawood Sharif. I was born, raised, and educated in Boston, Massachusetts. Have since been a world traveler. Currently living in Atlanta, Georgia, and founder of the Worldwide African Optimism Forum on WhatsApp. And is designed to share perspectives and concepts on our African situation throughout the diaspora and on the continent of Africa, the Caribbean. So I just wanted to share some concepts. I was invited by Sister Deborah Sharif, and also works via other platforms as well. And we have some history that we can share, hopefully to enlighten people.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Dawood. I'm going to have now you can still hear what's going on. I also wanted to mention that there has been a lot of information about what's going on with the Palestinian people, police, and from Sudan. And unfortunately, the information that has been shared, I can hear I think, Madam Tiger, I think it's from your line. If you can mute the line,
Can I
can
do
you hear
what?
it? Michael?
I think it's coming from the phone. Um, because actually I'm not saying anything, and there's no noise behind me except for a phone ringing now. So what should I do? Turn off my mic or
No, I think I can. What I can do. Let me just see if I do this. If it stops, just for a minute. Yeah, it does. Just a
wow.
little bit. Well, I guess we're going to have to live with it. So, let me see if I can talk over it. Michael, can you hear it as well?
Pardon me?
Can you hear it as well?
Oh, I heard it. It's kind of stopped now, but I don't hear any feedback from this end.
Okay, good, good, good. I just want to also mention that this particular program is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and all the opinions are of us. So, with that said, I want to start talking about some of the most important issues that I feel need to be discussed. That is the Palestinian people as well as the Sudanese, Congolese. I want to start off with talking a little bit about um, the Congolese people, and the reason that I wanted to talk about these three individual countries is while I was on social media,
Excuse me,
there was
excuse me, Deborah. Why don't you shut me down and then bring me back when you need me to talk? So that way your sound won't be so compromised.
We would just put it on mute so she can
yeah, I think I could
talk.
just put you on mute. Let me just, you don't have to, no, if I put her on mute, everybody will. So I won't be able to do that, but I will do that. But you can still listen, correct, Madam Tiger?
I can hear you.
She put
Okay.
everybody on mute and then unmute them when they get ready to speak.
Yeah, but I can't.
Do you have a
Oh,
phone near your microphone?
got it.
That might
I
be
got
it.
it. No, I did.
Okay.
No, it still goes. I put it all the way down. Let me see if
Okay.
let me just see if I can. Okay. It is not you. We're just dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties, and we'll be right back. Now, it's on your line, so I'm going to have to hang up.
Okay.
So I'm so sorry. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
No, we're not.
No. Let me see.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, we're good now. It's me. Oh, they're with us. It's me. I don't know why that every time I talk, can you hear it? It's like I don't get it. But anyways, let's move on and maybe I can talk over it and see what can happen. Let me see if I can bring it down just a little bit. Can you all still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me just start with I want to start with the Congolese people because as I was on social media and there was so much information about the Palestinian people that there was also some notation about people in the Congo and Sudan that are absolutely um, they're starving, they're millions of Congolese people and Sudanese people who need desperately our help. So just to give you a context on the Sudanese people, the historical context in terms of regional conflicts. The regional conflicts, and anybody can jump in here if you'd like, but Darfur, I'm sorry, the government reported militias committing atrocities against non-Arab ethnic groups in Darfur, leading to genocidal allegations and international condemnation. And without reading about 3 or 4 more paragraphs, let's face it, there are resources in Sudan that they want to get rid of the people in that particular area. So that's one thing that I think is really atrocious, and that's what's happening to people
Mhm.
of color. And Mike, comment?
Yes, I think historically we've seen this, and I think what's going on is there's a revolution of the youth in Africa right now. And so, with the advent of social media, access to cell phones, things like that, a lot of information is getting to people, and there's a cohesion now of thought that's going through many African nations among the youth. We have voices like Dr. Arakana. We have ECOWAS being pushed back by the youth movement to stop invading certain areas. So we have traditionally seen Israel and Gaza as the Western foothold to train the different types of insurgents that would come into these under the colonizer, so to speak, under these colonial powers, corporations and corporate entities that wanted to steal the resources. So now, anytime they see a nation that says we want equity for our resources, the clarion call is basically, oh, we've got some must be some Muslim insurgents. It must be some Russian influence. No, it's people that know what they're worth, and they want to stand up on their own 2 feet, and they want to oppose efforts for recolonization of the motherland.
Is muted. Madam Tiger, do you have any comments with what Mike said
Well,
about Sudan?
well, I fully agree with what he's saying. Since the end of the century-old war that they had with the North, the people of the South, have immense resources. And it's such a lovely land. Absolutely, it looks like God in the Eden. And I think people are more alert to their situations politically. The indigenous people who should own the resources. I know at the end of the war, one of the people who was a government official brought up 1 million acres of that land, which to me was an atrocity. And I think he paid less than 1,000 US or some minuscule amount of money for all of that land. So, people are being raped and they don't like it. And, the forces that wish they were have been really diligent about trying to suppress indigenous people having control over their societies. And when you spoke to me about coming onto this platform, and I thank you very much. And I would also like to say to all the mothers that are listening in at this point, Happy Mother's Day. The targeting of women and children is extremely significant. I don't know if you want to talk about that topic at this point, but it's something that we really have to recognize the importance of. So, having said that, I'm going to turn the mic back to you.
This goes back to King Leopold in terms of targeting women and children. The genocide of millions of people, starting with the women and children, has been an effective tool to get people to work for you for centuries and continuing it. And when we look at who the corporations are, that are involved in this, we see that they're doing the same thing that the colonial power did in the 1950s. So, I'm sorry, there's someone calling in for some reason. So, it's nothing new, is what I'm saying. And what I'm very pleased with is seeing student bodies like Xavier University, the new school in New York protesting Wednesday, that are saying divest. That's the same way we help people get their freedom in South Africa. Take away their money. Take away. Don't give them your assets. Don't give them the economic means to wage these wars. We're looking at the United States funding Israel that gives these weapons and giving weapons to Israel to then give to these other nations to then wage a war on these people who have hardly anything to defend themselves. And it's illegal. It's not only a genocide, which is against international law, it's against domestic law here in the United States to give money to people that are committing genocide. Yet our politicians don't speak about it, and it's only the youth that are saying the truth and speaking truth to power. And then I think it's mainly because they know that if they can get away with it here, it's gonna happen here next. And we can see it going on now with the militarization of the police, cop cities in every predominantly Black city in the United States that is upwardly mobile. We have an Israeli trained police force that is going to do basically what they're doing to Gaza here if given half the opportunity within the next century. That's
I'm
my
glad that
belief.
no, I hear you, and I definitely want to bring in Madam Tiger, but the whole purpose of this show, this podcast, was to shed light on what you just mentioned, Michael. And I just wanted to add, I want to get into the Palestinian people because the information, the mainstream media has really done a very, very poor job in covering the truth. And I actually was on TikTok the other day and made a comment about the students across the nation and how brave they are and how they are protesting. And I didn't bring that list with me, which I will for the my next show. But I was just really, really taken aback in terms of the I don't know, the bravery and how courageous our students are. And
Mm,
one of the things that really is troublesome, and I remember a quote from Malcolm X, and he said, the mainstream media will make the guilty look innocent and the innocent
mm,
look guilty. And so they are demonizing our students in these American universities. And they're really upset that MIT and Harvard and some of the elite schools are protesting so that they can divest from Israel. And I heard there was a group of people that went to a lecture for Cory Booker. I hope I said his name right because
hmm
I used to admire him. I thought he was a cool dude. Of course, I got vetted by Madam Tiger who he really is, but I didn't know his persona was always like, I'm right on with the people. And so I just want to share the short story because I was really flabbergasted at what happened. So there was a group of people when he finished coming down from the lecture. They surrounded him and they started asking him, you, as a part of Congress, can you call for a ceasefire? And he immediately looked at them and said, oh, you're pro Hamas. And that is not what they said. This is
mm,
what the media does. They twist it and said, oh, and so the woman responded and she said, I did not say that. I said to cease fire from murdering innocent men, women, and children. And I looked at him, and then when again when I got vetted to find out who this person is, now
mm,
I find out that he is definitely in support of Israel because many of them, as we know, are taking money from AIPAC. We get that, and but the thing about it is they're twisting what is being said. There was another report, Yahoo News. Yeah, I'm calling you out, and
hmm
they actually were talking about the protests, again across the nation, and they had this one Jewish student that said, "I feel very unsafe on campus." And
mm,
okay, so as a journalist, I teach broadcast journalism. So as a journalist,
hmm
yeah, from the other side, nothing, not a word. Then I saw a posting on TikTok that had a woman who was calling the police and saying, "I'm surrounded by pro-Palestinian people," And so everybody said, "You're free." They're surrounding me and won't let me go, and I'm just out here walking my dog. And everybody said, "You're free to go. We don't care. Go, because you're free to go." We had it on visual, and
Mm,
the scary part about it, and I definitely want to bring in Madam Tiger, is just that technical. We could hear that noise, but I also want
mhm.
to mention that if you start to criminalize and demonize people, the next thing is you're going to bring in, when you bring in law enforcement, what law enforcement has been doing has been horrible. But I just want to back up and mention the reason that all of us are here today, in terms of speaking out about Palestine, about Sudan, and about Congo, is that this all started at Columbia University, where the students were in a space that they could protest legally and exercise their First Amendment rights. The administration called law enforcement, and everybody felt so outraged that the students were there protesting. So, in other words, you can protest in these safe spaces if you're protesting something that is not threatening our power. And
Right.
that's why everybody started catching on. I can feel Madam Tiger wanting to jump in there. So hold on for a second. Let me bring her on. I'm so sorry for this technical noise, but here we go. Madam Tiger.
Well, actually, you caught me in the middle of trying to find some notes. Yeah, Martin Luther King also said, he had a quote about fingerifying people, and this is a tactic that has been used for centuries. They did it with us. They said we were three-fifths of a human, and so consequently they could wreak all kinds of havoc in our lives because we were not considered equivalent to the oppressor, however you would like to phrase it. So what's going on with the Palestinians right now? And in the Congo, they're trying to basically keep things silent. You're not getting a lot of information about the slaughter that's going on there. And it's really sort of ironic that the Congolese people are being assaulted by Muslims, and then in Palestine, you have the Muslims being assaulted by Jews, and it's very funny. This pecking order is just very bizarre. Um, However, it works. It's all about resources and extracting resources. I heard in Gaza there is oil, and the Israeli government, when on this particular branch, um, or this regime, when they came into office, they said they were going to wipe out Palestine.
Hmm.
That was what their declaration was. And so now they have used an excuse. And if you try to shine light on it, they try to divert you with a whole lot of other, what would you call it, smoke and mirrors, you know? But the actuality is they already have had a plan for Gaza, to turn it into some sort of paradise, and and deport all of the native people. It sort of reminds you of what the same blueprint that was used in South Africa by the Boers and the English and the colonists here in America with the Native American people. It's the same playbook. So it's all about economics, it's all about resources. And, the fact that in the 21st century, we can sit by and watch this type of havoc being wreaked on, on populations that are basically innocent and have a right to life is a shame and a disgrace. So I'm very happy that the students have picked up the ball and have made an alternative perspective, which is more humanistic and more rational, uh, a focus, because like Mike has said, and I've said many times, this same blueprint is going to happen here if we stop normalizing it around the world, you know.
Hmm.
So that's all I have to say about that. Give
Well,
somebody
Well,
else.
go
I'm
on,
sorry.
Michael. Hmm.
I was going to say this goes back to Theodore Herzl, the Zionist, who basically came up with the concept of moving Israel back into Africa. And basically, his first idea was to take over Kenya, but they
Mm-hmm.
figured the Europeans wouldn't be able to do as well that far south. So they picked another area that they thought they could utilize better. But the whole thing is that Netanyahu, current day Israel, is basically betrayed everything that created it in its inception. They were refugees. Yet Israel is one of the most racist countries in the world when it comes to refugees. As even if you're Sephardic Jew or whatever and black, if you go to Israel, there's protests daily about how they're treated. They're beaten on the streets. They're not given the right job. They're ghettoized. Um, Israel's pays black people to leave Israel, and one of the few countries that will do that. And it's again, Israel is a bunch of Europeans who want you to believe that they came from that area and they have the right to be there. Okay, you have that land area, but you don't have the right to commit suicide as a way, I mean, genocide as a way to maintain your power. You don't have that right. No people have that right. And just because a land is adjacent to you doesn't mean it's yours. That they are the occupiers. It wasn't the Palestinians. That was their land. So essentially, they're going to be fascists. They're going to say, because we have the power, because the United States, big brother with a big stick, is behind us, we're going to do whatever we want to because the United States needs us here to help solidify its position and corporate power in this region. And we're going to continue to do what we please, even if it makes us look like Nazis to the rest of the world. And that's exactly what's happening. People aren't stupid. They see it. They understand what's going on. They can deny it all they want to, but it's clear. It's plain. This is fascism in its purest sense. I'm stronger than you, so I'm going to do what the thing that I always go think back on is Hamas, and a lot of people don't know this, was created by Israel. It was created to combat the Muslim Brotherhood. And then after a few years, the people in Hamas betrayed Israel. That word's financial backers in its origination. So there you have it.
I
It's the
have
chickens coming home to roost.
well,
Interesting.
I have to hold up for a minute because Brother Dawood, I'm sorry, he was waiting there and he is here. Brother
All
Dawood,
right.
who is founder of the African Optimism Forum. Welcome, Brother Dawood. So glad you could make it. I know you have something to say.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to share some perspectives because all we really have is a perspective, a point of
Right.
view, and how your perspective is defined for you. That determines how you look at life and the
Mm.
choices that you make, and therefore your history. But I just wanted to give your audience an orientation of thought right now, and we cannot be bamboozled. We can't be hoodwinked and made to be confused about what's happening in the world today. Life has no meaning without definition. Whoever defines the rules controls the game. Most people today are sleepwalking, categorizing the movies as in a satiric way and satire as The Walking Dead, The Living Dead,
the zombies, the demons, as well as vampires, and those who suck the lifeblood out of others.
Brother Dawood, I hear an echo. I'm sorry. So you
Let me
might
see.
have to shut off whatever else you have.
Uh, Echo.
Do you have anything
Mm,
else on?
no, I do not. I thought that was coming from you. I don't have anything else on. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know where that's coming from. It could be an indication of that this data is being recorded by apparatus that's beyond our control. But if it's coming through your platform, you should be able to mute the one that's giving the feedback.
But just continue on. We'll go through the
Okay.
feedback. I don't have anything on here, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. But continue, Brother Dawood.
But I just want to, again, we're talking about an orientation of thought, and they utilize the movie theaters to communicate to one another about what's happening in the society. There's nothing new under the sun. So everything that they're putting on the TV, they're getting it from some aspect of reality. So, and they utilize, Shakespeare's concepts of personification, and they use concepts like werewolves who devour other people's lives and other animated humanoids that are not quite human beings, although they may appear in physical human form. And some of these people, they look at life as a game that must be played, just like gambling, using a hand that you were dealt with in a card game. And he who controls the definitions of life and controls the hands controls the rules of life and controls the game of life. Whoever controls the word environment, and they utilize language, and because language has been corrupted, and they add new words and add new definitions, to control and make rules for the people to follow. They create the definitions that influence mental and spiritual development and social consciousness. The word environment, which is encompassed by language, has been corrupted to oppress the development of the human soul. The human soul is evolving and has been evolving since its beginning. So we're evolving, and they're trying to control the direction of our evolution. And the influences in the forces in the social atmosphere, they're designed to create a mass-produced social mindset, a planned social mindset, create the social disciplines, how we think, in the general social behavior. Your social atmosphere is designed for mass production of public opinion, utilizing all types of media, all the airways. They call it the prince of the air, including television, radio, newspapers, magazines, social media outlets, politicians, religious leaders, faith institutions, civic organizations, legal systems, law enforcement, popular culture, pop culture, they call it, commercial institutions, and educational institutions that can be remotely controlled and control remotely. The ones who control the atmosphere controls the game of life and how the theater and the theater on the life stage unfolds. They see life as a stage and all the people as actors on that stage. The world can be viewed as a stage, and the people and leaders of the world can be viewed as the actors on that world stage. It's a perspective. There are people who appoint themselves as the controllers, the producers, the directors, the castors, the puppeteers, and the appointees of the actors on that stage. This is a perspective. And these people, they determine how things are to be seen before the masses to control the masses through this stage they call life. And the controllers, these people are primarily of the ruling class, the elite class, the experts in image making, spin masters, fixers, political juggernauts, masters of deception and social engineering, who may subconsciously suffer from an acculturated historical supremacy, man-God complex, or in other words, white supremacy. Others are consciously devilish, as they even refer to their own children as little devils. He who controls your environment and your atmosphere indirectly controls your outlook on life and your philosophy of life. He who controls your life philosophy and your outlook on life controls your choices in life and your life decisions. And your decisions thereby become your history. So if I
Well,
wanted to control your history, I control your philosophy.
I hear you, Brother Dawood.
Mhm.
We're going to have to move forward. Your information is very, very important. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can still hear it. I just put you on mute. I have no idea where that echo is coming from. So what I want to do now, thank you for your feedback, but I want to bring up, this is really, I'm going to see if I can mute everybody and see what happens. You all can still hear me? Just put thumbs up. Okay. So there's something, I have no idea what's doing that, but I just wanted to mention with the minutes that we have left, I want to say a call for action, because what are we going to do about all of these things? And I just want to simply just bear with me as I share with you this information. This is what you can do for the people that we talked about earlier in terms of Save the Children. And these are some of the links that you can go to so that you can donate to these particular causes. Use UNICEF, Red Cross. I had a whole listing of them and what they stand for the individual countries. And I also want to share with you the next one. Here's a crisis donate, the crisis relief, donate to Save the Children, donate to UNHSR. And if anybody is interested in getting a listing of some of the links that they can actually donate to, you can just email me at dksharif@gmail.com. And that's DKSHARIFF at gmail.com. And this is for the Palestinian people. As you can see, all the different links that you can actually donate to. And let me just bring this down so you can see them: USEF, Oxfam, AFSC, and anybody who's watching this, if you want to in the chat, put information that you think is also a place where you can donate information, that you can donate some additional links. And this is what you can do to support the families, support the students in all of the American universities, please support these students. And I understand that there are other universities that are actually providing, they're protesting and they're international. I'm going to let everybody put their mics on, but it was really difficult to hear that echo. So I know somebody must be messing with our program. I wouldn't put it past them, but I just wanted to make sure that I got that in, because when we talk about the problem, we've got to have solutions. And some of the solutions is to donate to the people, get the people out of Rafah, the Palestinians, make sure that you, for the Congolese people and the Sudanese folks. So let me put everybody back up. Let me just rid of everyone over here. I just want to bring everybody back. And I just want, if you have any closing thoughts, Mike, we'll start with you.
Okay. I just want to applaud the American students who are making their voices heard, that are going against oppression. I want everybody to be aware of these new militarized police, because again, Gaza can happen here unless we're vigilant. And I'd rather see people divest from corporations that are buying these weapons that are committing the genocide, probably than do anything else. When you take the money away from these corporations, believe me, it makes a lot more sense than arguing or sit-ins or being mad at your politicians, because they don't understand anything until you take away their money. As soon as, because that's their belief system. You got to understand your enemy. You need to understand what they value. If they don't value lives, believe me, they'll value when they can't pay the checks, when they can't pay their bills, when they can't take a new trip to Europe or whatever. They'll value that. When you take money out of these rich people's trust funds, they will value that.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Madam Tiger?
Well, I agree with everyone said. While Daoud was talking, it made me think of, reflect on a paper I read last night that was written by Michael Aquino, which was called Mind War. And it really talked about Michael Aquino was in charge of, I believe it's the Army's psychological branch of intelligence, and is behind a lot of this mass manipulation in regards to propaganda that we're witnessing today. But in regards to all of the topics that we have tried to comment on this platform. But I agree with Michael and Daoud and yourself. But again, I really think that not only should we value the tactic of taking away money, but I think we also have to really reflect on our own perspective as human beings. The most valuable assets on the planet are women and children. I mean, the X chromosome dictates everything that makes you human, you know? The Y chromosome gives you your talents, but the X chromosome is the vehicle of the spirit, and that is provided by women. And the children represent the hope for our future. So if you wipe out the women and children, you have done great damage to humanity. There's a proverb that says when you gather the hen, it's easy to collect their children. So I really would like to see a restoration of respect for women and children in the politics of this particular social order that we're navigating today. I don't want to take up all your time because there's a whole lot more I would love to say, but I wanted to get that out. And I think what you said as well, Deborah, about supporting people who are putting their heads on the chopping block is imperative. You know, kudos to all of those who have stepped up and told the truth because, they lynched Jesus for telling the truth, So just know that, there's a price to pay for telling the truth, but that shouldn't distract you from telling the truth and being proactive because what's happening to them will soon happen to us. So, anyway, that's all I have to say. And happy Mother's Day once again.
Thank you. And Brother Dawood, see how it is? I just have to keep cutting off mics and we don't have any echo. But Brother Dawood, your final thoughts?
Yes, I also want to extend a happy Mother's Day to, to all the mothers, and motherhood is sacred, and it's something that we should all cherish, and that is our future. That's why they try to kill the women and kill the children to kill out the future. I also want to uh, express appreciation to Brother Mike and the things that he shared. And I didn't know how long this show was going to be. I still don't know how long it's going to be or how the platform was. Because I hadn't really got things that I had in mind to share about what was happening in Palestine or Congo or Sudan. I don't think we have enough time. But with respect to intelligentsia and what's happening with our in our Ivy League schools and HBCUs and universities throughout America, and how it's impacting universities throughout the world. These are the people that our current politicians thought was going to be inheriting their oppressive roles in the world. But it seems like there's a moral consciousness that's impacting the souls of these people, these students, and they are our future. They're the future leaders of the world, but they're going in a different, and that they be attacked for that. But we have to continue supporting them and helping them and aiding them and helping guide them, from the experiences that we have obtained from the 60s and the 70s and our fight against the Vietnam War and apartheid in South Africa. So I hope that you can have another platform where we can get a little deeper. I was just dealing with some conceptual things earlier, just because I know most of the people are bamboozled. They don't know what's going on. So and I was trying to get some orientation of thought, and before we got into some of the factoids and details of what's happening and the motives behind what's happening. Three hotspots that I consider African, because that Saudi Peninsula used to be defined as Africa. It's the European Ashkenazis that redefined it as Middle East, as actually part of Africa, and there's a relationship that they want to sever, but we can't let that happen. We have to, carry the torch of truth, every place we go, because we know that the truth will set us free. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawood. Thank you, Brother Dawood. Thank you so much. And I want this conversation to continue. I'm here, my podcast. I relaunched my podcast, Success Talk. And so every Sunday, we can do a series. that, that speaks to what we're all dealing with right now. And I've seen so many different forums that had people that weren't people that look like us that were talking about this issue. And I said, where are the talk show hosts? Where are the podcasters? Where are they on this issue? And we care very much. We care very much, and we're here. If you notice that I had a sign up as I close, which said block the celebrities. I'm with the TikTokers in terms of blocking celebrities so they're losing revenue, because so happened, it was just so weird. I happened to check out the Met Gala. It was just by mistake. You know how you start looking for different things to check out. Anyways, on social media, I came across it and I said, "Who are these clowns and all these ridiculous outfits?" That's what I was thinking. Then the next day, the TikTokers were talking about what the purpose of the Met Gala. So they were showing people walking down with these grotesque clothes. The women couldn't even go up on they couldn't even step up on the stairs that were in this particular event. And then they showed people running from bombs and mothers, and I saw a baby in a rubble in Gaza. And so they were making that parallel. Nobody is speaking out. If you notice, none of the celebrities are speaking out. Nobody is saying anything. So it does. What kind of America are we living in right now? So anyway, so I love the fact that the trenders, the Gen Xers, they say block the celebrities because you're going to block their money. Now a couple of them are being insincere and coming out and say, well, this issue is just too complex. So we are not only blocking them, but we're also boycotting their movies. We're not dealing with any of the companies that are associated with, and this will lead on to boycotts, which we did. I think somebody mentioned about apartheid. I know I'm a couple of minutes over, but I just wanted to mention, when you all saw Block Celebrities 2024, I wanted to let you know what that is. So I never was a fan, so I didn't have to block anybody because I wasn't a fan of anybody. But they said that there's a way that you can still block them in their company. So I just wanted to make a comment about that. But I want to thank Michael Theory. I want to thank Brother Dawood Sharif. And I want to thank my sister, Madam Tiger, for being a part of this series, that we're going to continue the conversation. I'm Deborah Sharif. This is Success Talk. And until next time.